Hey guys, this is Hannah, an ENFJ, and I thought it'd be fun to do a top 10 list of pet peeves of myself. So these are 10 things that I think are ENFJ related. I think ENFJs will be able to relate to some of these things on my list. So, um, yeah, let's get started. Um, One of the things that I've noticed is that I can be pretty indecisive, especially when it comes to when people are around me. Um, I begin to second guess decisions that I was initially really gung ho about. So I have an example. I usually hate going shopping with other people. I like to take my time. I like to look at my different options and make really informed decisions and purchases. And I realized that the reason I don't like shopping with other people, it's not that I don't enjoy their company or I feel rushed necessarily, although I do. I think a part of that is because I um, allow their opinion to weigh on my purchases a lot of times. So I went shopping with some girlfriends the other day, and we were going clothes shopping, and I found a top that I really liked. And one of my friends very nicely expressed that she didn't think it was the best shirt for me, and while the other girls loved it and were convincing me to, just that one opinion kind of almost swayed me to not buying it. It wasn't until I was just like, oh, actually, yeah, I don't think I really like it anymore. And then my other girlfriends were like, what are you talking about? You were saying that you wanted to buy it. Why does it matter if she likes it or not? And it kind of made me realize I do this a lot in a lot of little things. Um, I just get too influenced, I guess, by other people's decisions, and I don't really like that about myself. Um, the second one is I lose confidence when being watched while I'm doing things like at work. If last month I had to train someone how to do my job, and I felt like as she was watching me do my job, I was getting all flustered, and it's something that I usually am very confident in. I know how to do it. It's very natural, second nature for me to do it. I started to get really uncomfortable, and I started to realize that I wasn't as confident in what I was doing because I felt like she was judging me or something. Like, even though she was not coming across, nothing in what she said or her body language was saying it, but I started to wonder if I should do things a different way, if it would be more productive or whatever. She would second guess my skills and wonder why I have this position. Like, silly thoughts that I have all the time when I feel like I'm being watched. Same goes with my boyfriend when I'm cooking. He is very particular about how to cook and dice tomatoes or whatnot. But I do this a lot. Like, I feel like I don't like doing things. I don't like doing tasks or projects when people are with me because I get kind of distracted by what I think they're thinking, or sometimes I get distracted just talking to them, but that's besides the point. I think I tend to think too much about what they're thinking of how I'm doing it, if I'm doing it right or whatnot. I don't like that about myself. I don't like the dreaded NITI loop that us ENFJs have and go through. I tend to trust my judgment about certain things and my intuition, and then I internally process it, and it's never very productive. It's usually very catastrophizing, or I just get to a dark place when I start thinking things. Like, I read into things and fear starts to creep in, and then I'm not very logical until I actually talk it out. I wish that I could better process things emotionally without needing to talk it out. I wish that my thought process was a lot more rational and not as emotionally charged. My next one is feeling overly responsible for others. I've talked about this before, but I think I make myself too important to people. I think what I do and what I say affects people more than what would really happen. I like that I'm cautious about my decisions and I think about other people and I'm sensitive to my how what I do affects other people. But at the same time, it's just like too much sometimes. Like I can't make everyone happy, and it's not my responsibility to do that either. I'm not careless with other people's decisions, like lives, with my decisions. I don't think I ever will be, so I need to stop putting that much of a burden on myself. And sometimes I will do things that will affect other people, but it doesn't mean that I shouldn't do it. I should trust that people are stronger. It doesn't mean that stronger than I give them credit for, and it doesn't mean that I'm a horrible person. That, like, if I have to make a decision that's gonna help me, I'm always thinking about the other person, and a lot of times I can find a way to do both. I just don't want to carry that burden for the rest of my life. I don't want to carry other people's happiness on my shoulders, and to the point where it's affecting how I'm living my life, and or feeling guilty for things that I shouldn't feel guilty for. The next one is difficulty expressing anger. I am really uncomfortable with angry emotions. I'm very comfortable with feeling sad. Not in a weird way, but like I don't like telling someone when I'm angry. I noticed a pattern that when someone has hurt me or did something that really pissed me off, and rightfully so, because there is such a thing as justified anger, I will resort to feeling sad. Like, I don't like feeling this anger, so I'm going to feel sad about it, and then I end up crying and expressing to them that it makes me sad and it hurts my feelings, but in reality, it pissed me off, and I should be able to say when something pisses me off. I don't think I'll ever become hot-headed to the point where I'm illogical and casting unjustified blame on someone else, but I think people need to hear when they make you angry, and I think it's okay for people to see that angry side of me. I just haven't gotten there yet, and how I feel about it, and yeah, so I generally just tend to not deal with things when I'm angry, because I feel like it's gonna discount what I'm gonna say, but I feel like if I say it when I'm sad, they'll hear me more. I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, I just don't like that about myself. It's something I'm working on. I get really flustered and second guess when I have to defend myself or explain my thoughts, explain my reasons when I'm feeling attacked. So if I feel like someone's second guessing my intentions, I have a hard time defending myself, because I think that's something that I'm very mindful of. I always want to I want people to trust me, and I want people to trust that my intentions are good. And when I feel like it's not, I get really affected by that. Like, it really affects my day. I just don't. I don't like that I care. And this kind of goes on to the next one, is that I don't care. I don't like when that I care so much about what people think of me. I think one of my core values is I want to be a positive influence in people's lives. I want to bring something in their life, and to get them to think about things a certain way, or have a positive relationship with them. Yeah, I want people to experience me in a positive way, but it doesn't mean that everyone has to like me, and it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world if someone doesn't. It's okay for people to form opinions of me that aren't accurate. I do that to people all the time without meaning to, and people experience different people from their own perspectives, and sometimes it can be misconstrued, but that's okay. The next one is I have a really difficult time asserting myself and self-advocating. This kind of, it gets, I feel like a lot of these things are overarching themes of confidence, people-pleasing, or lack of confidence and people-pleasing. But they're, yeah, I'm just realizing that. Okay, so, yeah, I have learned to assert myself more, but it's so uncomfortable for me. It does not come naturally. When I was doing therapy, my therapist would always, when in those moments where I was having a hard time speaking up for myself, in my relationships with other people who have wronged me or whatnot, she would always ask me, what would you tell a friend if she were in your situation? That I've carried that on with me for the past few years, because that really has helped me realize that me advocating for my friend, I get really worked up. Like, when I hear someone has wronged someone that I love, I would do anything to, like, speak up for them, make sure that they know that they didn't deserve to be treated like that. And I get really passionate about it. But when it comes to myself, I just, like, let things slide. I don't advocate for myself. Like, if I'm calling companies who, wrongly charged me a fee or whatnot, I will, like, go in being very, like, passionate about it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to make sure that they erase that fee from my bill, blah, blah, blah. And then the moment I start talking to them about it, and all they say is, oh, sorry, we can't do it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, that's fine, thanks for trying. And it's just, like, ridiculous, because if that were a friend, I would tell them to, stick to their guns, advocate for themselves. That's what they should do. It wasn't right for them to charge them that way, blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to me, I struggle with it. So, another one is feeling responsible to resolve conflict for others. So I don't know if you and FJs relate to this, but when I have, whenever I'm in a situation, let's say I'm hanging out with a group of people, family members, friends, whatnot, and there's obvious conflict, I want to resolve it. I want to, like, jump in and get both parties to talk about it. I already see where the miscommunication happened if I was there when whatever the conflict arose. I want them to, like, see that their perspective, each other's perspective, talk through it, express how it made them feel. Like, I just want for people to have healthy relationships, work on their communication for the purpose of building relationships and repairing those relationships. I just, like, get really uneasy and comfortable with it, but I also, like, already, like, instinctively know what happened and what could fix it, and it drives me crazy not jumping in if it's not appropriate for me to. But I don't like how uneasy I am with the lack of harmony in situations. It really, like, messes with me. So that kind of goes into the other thing that I don't like about myself is that I just soak up people's energy. Like, I get really affected by people's moodiness, or if they're upset or mad, and I tend to like make it my responsibility to make them feel better, and if I don't, then I make it about myself, and all of a sudden I'm not even trying to like help the person that's upset. I'm just like down on myself because it must be about me, and why can't I help them feel better, and they must be mad at me, what did I do? And it's just like not productive at all, and it's very like making it about myself, and that's not how I want to be with people, especially if they're going through something. Yeah, so I think that's 10, but I have one more. The last thing is just being really emotional and overly emotional or overly sensitive. I think that people generally love ENFJs for their big hearts, and I had a fellow ENFJ, tell me that with a big heart comes big emotions, and I think that's the pro and con of the situation of feeling a lot and feeling strongly and feeling passionately. I tend to be really emotional and sensitive, and sometimes it's good and sometimes I miss some things that are more logical and reasonable because I'm getting really overwhelmed by my feelings about something, and I can get stubborn about what's happening in the situation when really it's just more my perspective, my perception of it. And once I get a clearer perspective, then I could see full picture. It wasn't wrong for me to have the emotions. I just need to sometimes step back so I can see something for what it is. So all of these things are things that I'm working on and can be worked on, and it's not doesn't mean every ENFJ is like this. But I'm sure that many of you ENFJs can relate to me more than any other personality type, because so you guys can tell me what your self-pet peeves are. That's not even a word, I don't think, but it is now, I guess. Yeah, tell me what you relate to, and I think the next video I'm going to make is a list of 10 things that I like about myself, and kind of balance it out. So, thanks for watching.